We often picture angels as kind beings dressed in white, their voices echoing with heavenly hymns. They are often portrayed as serene figures radiating peace and tranquility, their wings shining under the divine light. Their melodies are like a balm to the soul, bringing comfort and hope. They are protectors, guides, whispers of comfort in times of despair. In moments of anguish, we feel their presence by our side, offering guidance and protection. They envelop us with their wings, soothing us with gentle words and kind gestures. But the Bible tells us about another side to these celestial beings, a side rarely depicted in paintings or sung in hymns. This side reveals the true nature of angels as powerful warriors and messengers of the divine will. They are not just beings of light, but also executors of divine justice. A side that speaks of power, of judgment, of divine wrath. With flaming swords and an imposing presence, they bring God's justice to those who defy His will. They are the executors of divine judgment, bringing retribution to the unjust. This is the story of one such angel, an angel who, in a single night, unleashed the fury of God upon an army of 185,000 soldiers. This angel, with unimaginable power, brought destruction upon those who opposed God's people, demonstrating the overwhelming force of divine justice. This is not a story for the faint of heart. It is an intense and powerful narrative, filled with fierce battles and divine interventions. The angel's presence on the battlefield changed the course of the war, showing that God's will is unwavering. It is a story of war and faith, of human arrogance and divine intervention. The human soldiers, with all their strength and strategy, were no match for celestial power. The angel's intervention was a reminder that no matter how hard humans may try, the divine will always prevails. It is a stark reminder that while God's mercy is infinite, His justice is absolute. The divine scales weigh both mercy and justice, and the angels are the bearers of those scales. They ensure that God's justice is served, even if it means bringing destruction upon the wicked. Join us now as we journey back to ancient Israel, to a time of fear and uncertainty, and witness the awesome power of God's unseen hand. We will explore how angelic presence influenced the history and faith of the people of Israel, and how these events shaped the understanding of divine justice and mercy. Prepare yourself for a journey through time, where the divine and the mortal meet in an epic confrontation. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about fascinating stories like this one, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, leave a like, and hit the bell icon to receive notifications of new videos. Your participation is very important to us. 8th century BC. The mighty Assyrian Empire, known for its ruthlessness and military might, cast a long shadow over the ancient world. Its king, Sennacherib, was an ambitious ruler, hungry for conquest and driven by an insatiable thirst for power. One by one, kingdoms fell before his armies, their cities plundered, their people enslaved. Among those threatened was the kingdom of Judah, a small nation, but one chosen by God. Its capital, Jerusalem, stood as a beacon of faith, home to the sacred temple and the Ark of the Covenant. Sennacherib, however, saw Jerusalem not as a holy city, but as another prize to be claimed, another victory to be added to his growing list of conquests. Fear gripped the hearts of the Israelites as news of the approaching Assyrian army spread like wildfire. People were in a state of panic, their minds filled with images of destruction and death. The streets were filled with murmurs and lamentations as families prepared for the worst. They had heard stories of Sennacherib's brutality, of the cities he left in ruins, the tales of burned and looted cities, of men, women, and children taken as slaves were told and retold, amplifying the terror. The shadow of the Assyrian army seemed to grow with each passing day, an unstoppable force that nothing could withstand. King Hezekiah, a man of deep faith, knew the gravity of the situation. He was not just a political leader, but also a spiritual guide for his people. Amidst the chaos, he remained calm, drawing strength from his unwavering faith. He knew that he needed more than just military strategies to face this threat. He understood that this was not just a battle for land or power, but a battle for the very soul of his nation. Hezekiah knew that the survival of his people depended on his ability to keep faith and hope alive. He spent hours in deep contemplation, seeking the best way to protect his kingdom. Turning to God for guidance, Hezekiah sought out the prophet Isaiah. Isaiah was known for his wisdom and connection to the divine. Together they sought answers, praying fervently for a sign, a direction. They knew that divine help was their only hope against such a powerful enemy. Together they poured out their hearts to the Almighty, their voices heavy with fear and desperation. The prayers were not just words, but a deep cry for salvation. The temple was filled with people in prayer, each bringing their own worries and hopes, united in a single purpose. They acknowledged their own weaknesses, their vulnerability in the face of such a formidable enemy. To admit their helplessness was an act of courage, a show of humility before God. They knew that without divine intervention, their chances of survival were slim, yet they clung to God's promise of protection, reminding him of his covenant with his chosen people. The faith that God would not abandon them, even in their darkest hour, was what kept them going. They believed that despite all odds, the divine hand would guide them to victory and peace. A night of terror, the angel's silent fury. Night fell upon the Assyrian camp, a vast sea of tents stretching as far as the eye could see. The silence of the night was broken only by the occasional sound of sentries' footsteps and the distant murmur of conversations. Inside, soldiers boasted of their imminent victory, their laughter echoing through the darkness, unaware of the silent terror that was approaching. They were confident, certain that nothing could shake their strength and numbers. No clash of swords, no roar of battle cries, only the whisper of the wind and the rustle of wings. The night was thick with an unseen tension, as if nature itself sensed what was to come. The angel of the Lord descended upon the unsuspecting army. His presence was both majestic and terrifying, a figure of light and shadow that hovered over the camp. No blade of steel, no arrow loosed from a bow could match the swift, silent fury of this celestial warrior. His sword blazed with an ethereal light, cutting through the air with deadly precision. With every breath, with every touch, death spread through the ranks. Soldiers fell without a sound, their bodies collapsing like puppets whose strings had been cut. Terror spread, but there was no time to scream or fight. Morning came, revealing a scene of unimaginable horror. The rising sun illuminated the battlefield, exposing the devastation that had occurred during the night. 185,000 Assyrian soldiers lay dead, their bodies scattered across the ground like leaves fallen after a storm. The morning silence was heavy, laden with the weight of the tragedy that had unfolded. The stench of death hung heavy in the air, a silent testament to the power of the Lord. The morning mist mingled with the smoke from extinguished fires, creating a scene of desolation and loss. The camp, which had been so full of life and laughter the night before, was now a silent graveyard, a grim reminder of the angel's silent fury. The price of pride, Sennacherib's defeat. The news of the massacre reached Sennacherib, shattering his arrogance and shaking him to his core. The invincible army he had boasted of, the force that had brought countless nations to their knees, was decimated. Humbled and defeated, he retreated from Judah, his dreams of conquest shattered at his feet. Sennacherib's reign of terror did not end there, but the shadow of that night followed him back to Nineveh, his once proud demeanor forever marked by fear and uncertainty. Years later, while worshipping in the temple of his god Nisroch, he was assassinated by his own sons. An ignominious end for a ruler who dared to defy the God of Israel. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about fascinating stories like this one, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Until next time.